of the Dialogue Circle. This is a live session, and I'm Captain Preetham Madhukar, a will, strength, and elite performance coach for executives and entrepreneurs. My mission is to help people build that will, strength, build that discipline, build that mindset, decision making capacity to help them become world class. And I'm also an author of the book Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubts, available on Amazon. Please do grab a copy. It'll help you immensely in building your will strength. And today I have an amazing speaker, the founder of Business Enablers, Vivekanand, who, after working for over 25 years in large companies as the HR head, he has now founded this organization to help SMEs, a space where probably HR and HR skills are not focused on, which has its own consequence. And Vivekanand has been working relentlessly. He keeps empowering business leaders, and it's amazing to have him here. Thank you, Vivekanand, for taking time out, and I'm also looking forward to getting a lot of insights on this HR talk, and being a business coach myself and helping people. I'm sure I can get a lot of things from you, which I can help with my clients as well. So thank you for taking time out.
Thank you, Captain Preetham. It's a privilege to be here on this platform, as I have been following your work for quite some time, and I'm sure it would be a great conversation where we speak about the challenges that these businesses face, and
Yeah,
how we as professionals can help them evolve.
superb, superb.
So I'm looking
All
forward to this
excited.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, superb. And I also want to thank all the listeners who may be watching this live or probably the recorded. It's going to be available on our own social media platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you may be watching. And keep following this so you can get more such insightful sessions for you. And thank you so much for taking time out to listening. Okay, wherever you may be listening, thank you. Whoever is watching, wherever, thank you so much for taking. Please post your questions on the chat. It will appear for us, and we will try to take that up. So this is especially a powerful session if you're a SME business owner, you are a startup founder, and you're going to get amazing insights into how to improve your HR processes and policies. So thank you so much for taking time out. Vivekananda, I want to ask you that, we were speaking before the session started about how big companies have already got established processes and steps, while small business founders, they don't really prioritize HR till it comes to, a level where they have to focus on. So what are your thoughts, initial thoughts about that?
See, when it comes to small businesses or SMEs, as we say, they are called unorganized for a purpose.
Mm,
There is a reason behind calling them unorganized, and their business practices, their business models are actually unorganized as they are called.
mm,
If and when I engage with these business owners, I engage with business owners which are very small, which are maybe we should say tiny to a decent size of it. But one common thing that I found in most of them is, their entire focus is on today. The entire focus is on how much revenue that we have to get in this year.
mm.
I mean, ask them next year, they themselves are not very clear what they will do next year. Or it's like, some markup on the previous year turnover and like. So there is clearly a lack of planning. Of course, yes, this the businesses began with a great vision, a great thought, that tiny seed that they sow. But as they grow, they get entangled into those daily operational issues. So they are more into firefighting and less on planning and visualizing things for future. And this reflects in the way they manage their manpower. I'm not saying they are bad or they don't consider it, but yes, their vision is so small. An employee is coming, employee is getting salary, employee is happy. But then what beyond that? You you want your business to grow. Each individual wants to grow. So have you been able to show that growth to your employer now?
Mm.
So these are many factors which are not even much considered.
Yeah.
For them, growth is revenue increasing. For them, growth of employees, they're increasing salaries.
Yeah. Completely,
So
I think. Yeah.
correct. So it's like the horizon is so small for them. They're 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 occupied with their daily firefighting. Their vision is on today.
Yeah. So what would a common problem be, or a common stage when business owners would approach you? Like, what kind of challenge would that be?
See, most business owners when they approach me with a problem.
Mm.
Somewhere in their mind, they are very clear HR is not for them. HR is for large organization,
Mm.
or maybe some small HR practices or some HR executive can do it.
Mm.
Now their problems can be at any level, but they are somewhere linked to HR.
Yeah.
So like one of my very early initial client that approached me, they never approached me for HR strategy or something. They came with a problem.
Mm.
We are losing people, and we don't get good manpower in our. We are into a BC class town. We don't get good manpower.
Mm.
Can you help us hire?
Yeah.
When I discussed, I realized, boss, your problem is not hiring. Your problem is you are not able to retain people.
Mm.
And that was the shift in the mindset.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we worked closely, and now what they are experiencing, they are still in that small town.
Mm.
Their own people are coming back.
Mm.
So that definition of a good talent, definition of a bright talent is changed for them.
Wonderful.
And
Yeah.
that's how. So most of these businesses, when they approach with a problem still.
Wonderful. Yeah. And
So yes.
yeah, and continuing before continuing, I'd like to thank the viewers wherever you're watching. Thank you for taking your time out. Please post your questions in the chat box. It will appear for us, and we will take these questions live. And I have Vivekananda, who's the founder of Business Enabler and a HR specialist who helps SMEs improve their HR processes and their HR strategies. And I'm Captain Preetham Madhukar, a will strength and elite performance coach for entrepreneurs and executives to really take your game to the next level. And please do post your questions, and thank you so much for your time. So, Vivekananda, you were mentioning about how businesses, especially like small businesses, are losing employees, not able to retain them in small towns. So, without those big budgets, without those flashiness which a big company may have, how do these small companies, say 10% company, 20% company, how do they retain good stuff?
See, there is a there is a myth that people leave the organization for less money because they are not getting more money.
Mm.
And that really is a myth. If you have identified the right person for the job. See, obviously you are in a small town. You cannot expect you don't expect candidates to leave their metro city and come to your town to work. People from a small city they rush towards metro town because they see future there. So one is you need to identify the right person who's going to stay in that particular vicinity and work, and their future perspective are different.
Mm.
Not everyone runs after money.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to first understand the people, and you have to get the right fitment to the job. And it's not the exchange of salary and work that you're doing. You're not doing a business with them. You're
Mm.
looking for a partner who can help you work together with you to help to grow your business. And
Yeah.
obviously, you have to instill that feeling when the business grows. I also grow. And
Super.
I have worked with one such a small business which is a pioneer in the country today, and have experienced. In fact, I have spent a decade with them and I've seen how I grew with the company.
Mm.
So that's a myth. A small organization will not do that, or people will not stay in the or a small organization because they don't get too much of money there.
Mm.
Yes, money is your weak link. So don't play to your weakness. Play to
Mm.
your strength.
Yeah.
See how you can engage your people,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and what kind of people you want.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
someone is attracted with money, you cannot retain them.
Absolutely.
Let them go.
Yeah.
Find out people who are going to stay for, who are driven by more work, who are driven
Mm.
by more achievements,
Yeah.
and those are the people that will stay with you because they feel pride in growing a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And what,
that's
yeah, I mean, completely resonate with it. I think many times small companies are struggling with, retaining people, hiring talent. What about the other side? They are trying to sometimes maybe using the person into three roles and trying to train them and at what stage do they decide that, what, I need to let them go, he's not a good fit or he doesn't have the capacity to learn and grow? uh, what is the decision point for them to let go?
see. I'll first would like to answer it. Capacity to learn is comes very later.
Mm.
We have to identify people who have the willingness to learn.
Mm.
As long as I started my career in a very small organization in a very small city, and I never treated it as a job.
Mm.
For me, it was a learning experience. It
Okay.
was, where I was discovering myself, and those people are available. Of course, some will stay, some will go away. But yes, I mean, the focus has to be on the right cultural fit for your organization.
Mm.
Whether this, yes, a lot of trainings. In fact, if the person is involved in your organization, they will themselves arrange the resources to learn. You may
Yeah.
not even have to train them, and
Mm.
that's how we have grown.
Absolutely.
So it's like the focus has to be more on the cultural fit and the engagement part of it. And if sometimes someone is not fitting into that culture or not engaging, I think that's the right time to shake hands,
Mm.
because you cannot lure them by paying more money.
Mm.
Because for them, more you pay, more they want,
Mm.
and your business has a limitation.
Yeah.
You cannot afford that much.
Mm.
So to answer it, yes, it's more about the hiring. If you hire right, the development part is very, it happens automatically.
Mm.
It grows. It goes
Okay.
seamlessly.
Mm.
So you don't have to put too many efforts there.
Yeah.
People learn because they feel, involved in it.
Mm. Super.
And,
I have
and
one.
that's how.
I
Please.
have a question here from the audience, or whoever is listening in, please do share your questions. Today is about how to revolutionize your HR strategy for your business, but with also a special focus if you are a startup founder, SME business owner, you're in the managing for such small companies, how to really improve your HR, how to build a great strategy for yourself. That would be the great focus. And Vivekananda is an asset for such wealth of information. The question is how to be a good HR leader in an IT company. This is from Sheikh Sano. Thank you, Shano, for your question. How to be a good HR. Maybe some two, three things that are at the top of
See, I'll tell you what I know. Besides this, I mentor a lot of HR professionals, and they come to me. What is that one top skill that a HR person should have? And again, do you love humans? Do you love working with people? Do you love engaging with them and inspiring them, motivating them? That's the only thing. So to summarize it, one word that comes to our mind is empathy. How good a people person you are, and that's the only thing that HR, as an HR head, as a HR leader, you need to, because you have to balance both the sides of it. Management has its own limitations, employee has its own limitation, and you have to bring them together.
Mm.
And unless you understand,
Yeah.
most of the HR leaders where they make mistake is they try to convince people
Mm.
and leave it. It will happen. Don't worry. It will happen. No,
Yeah.
it's like keeping them together and helping them. Engaging more with them, involving them more.
Mm.
All those technology, all those different skills that are being promoted are a waste
Mm.
if you're not a people person.
Yeah.
And if you are a people person, you will evolve.
Wonderful.
You have to you want to create a difference for someone,
Yeah.
you will learn on your own.
Yeah.
And that's where the learning begins.
Yeah. I have another question here. Yeah, thank you, Vivek.
Mhm.
I have another question here from Preeti, who's talking about I'm in the process of recruiting my team. It's not a question, maybe a comment. She's thanking for taking up this topic. Thank you, Preeti, for sharing your comment. And it's really glad that this session is able to help you. And Vivekananda, I have also a question where, especially small companies where the founder has got so many things, and sometimes they need one executive assistant, somebody who can take over all these small things, which is there, without any probably a certain department or a category to give, but what a founder would do. How important do you think this is? Because I find that founders who don't do this can scatter away their time, feel unfulfilled, they're not progressing because all these small things each away which would have been delegated away.
See, this is one, I'll not say a mistake, but a blunder that most small business owners do. They try to take too much on their head. I'm working with limited resources. Let me do this. Let me do this. It's always better to develop team, to identify people, and as you said, have an executive assistant or have someone who can take care of those operational or the daily issues. It frees up your bulk of your leadership time. As a business owner, you are the top leader of the organization. You are the vision of the organization. You are the culture of the organization. And if you get into the daily firefighting, there's no one else to manage it
Yeah.
because you are fighting that small battle. Everyone joins you there,
Mm.
and what is needed at the leadership front, there is absolutely there.
Mm.
So I mean, yes, it is always good. For me, the best leader or the owner is one who can afford to take holidays
Mm.
without worrying about a business. And my straight question to them is, can you afford 1 week without your business thing?
Mm.
If you cannot, you are not managing your business well.
Mm.
Your team has to be, the composition has to be such that you become insignificant.
Mm.
Though you control, but
Correct.
you should become insignificant for day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
That should happen on your own, and that will come when you choose the right people,
Yeah.
give them the right task, and allow them to work, create an environment. So it's
Yeah.
only three things that I tell them:
Yeah.
choose the right people, give them the right job,
Mm.
and create the right culture environment to do. You
Yeah.
don't have to do training, you don't have to do anything. Focus on these three things. People will develop, people will evolve on their own.
Mm.
And that's where, that controlling mindset creates a problem.
Yeah.
I'm the owner,
Yeah.
I have to be into everything.
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
So
that's where the
fantastic.
problem is.
Yeah. Thank you. And I have a form which I have shared on the chat. It's reach out to us. Both Vivekananda and I are a business coach and mentors in different arenas and specialization. So if you like to connect with us, then this form is there. Do fill it out, and later one of us or one of our team members will connect with you and connect and see how we can help you further. So the form is out there. Please do fill it out if you need some support and some guidance. And I have another question from Anvai Madhavi, and how to hire the right person for a remote location. Some tools which can give a base to shortlist people.
Uh, and where let me this is one question which is bothering every business owner, every HR leader, every recruiter. How to hire people. And believe me, you don't need a tool for it. You need the right approach. And the major mistake that we make here is we all want the right talent, but do we actually know the definition of right? If we have the right definition here, half the problems are sorted out. We mistake the right with the qualification they have, with the experience they bring, or some fancy certification they bring. That's a wrong approach. The right candidate is the person who brings the right character with him, or the person who brings the right personality traits that fit into your organization culture. Don't worry about the knowledge and the level of your skills. That can be developed. And
Hmm.
if you have the right person for the job, they will develop on their own.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag, but yes, that's how I started my career as a trainer.
Super.
That's how, because technology kept changing, things kept evolving, and we kept learning. Because yes, we had the love for the job that we were doing, and we kept learning there.
Yeah.
So the right candidate is a result of the right definition of the candidate that you have,
Hmm.
and that will help you.
Yeah.
I hope it answers, or else
Yeah.
you can post another follow up question for it, or else you can approach us with your question. We'll be able to
Yeah.
help you there.
So the form is there if it's something that is still, we're trying to cover as much as possible in this 1 hour session and try to give the maximum value, but some things could be beyond the scope. Do fill out this form, which I've shared. I'll reshare it again. And connect with us. And just to add, Vivekananda has already shared some brilliant points. Just to add is becoming clear about the kind of role that you're filling. What is the job that you are seeking out for? Being able to pen it down, type it out. That itself will give you amazing clarity of the right person that you need for your job. This what kind of skills you need, what kind of knowledge he needs to or she needs to bring, that will give you an amazing clarity. And then the platforms are plenty. Today you just need to get those CVs and filter out, have your process about the minimums and what kind of standards that you want to keep, and take it from there. Hope these
I'll just add one more thing
please.
to it.
Yeah.
Tools are and there are so many tools available. So many AI compatible and all those things. But believe me, technology will be dumb if you do not have your own clarity.
Hmm.
Technology will not do magic for you. So it will keep sending those candidates to you. You have to have the right clarity in you. So however, artificial intelligence and all those things will come. There is still artificial.
Yeah,
The real is human intelligence, and then once you apply to that, once you have the right clarity, tools will only help you to reduce the work. They will not solve your problem.
yeah, absolutely. In
So,
fact,
so
we
hmm,
should maybe not even use the word tools. Maybe that's why many people get confused. I generally use aids. I call it aids. That
correct,
they're only to aid you make a more better, but they cannot replace you, right? They are aids, and if you treat them as aids, then the whole meaning changes how you're going to use them for yourself. So
correct.
yeah, hope it helps, Anvay. And please do post your questions. You've been posting some amazing questions. Thank you for that. And thank you for taking this time out and listening in. We are hoping to give you much more value. Hope you're getting already, but more things are coming up for small businesses, startup founders, and just to help you improve things for yourself, give you clarity. Preeti has asked if she could talk to both of us. Preeti, I have left the form there. Please do fill out, and then we will connect with you at a later point in time. Yeah. And I have another question. Companies should improve the working environment, culture, and avoid doing micromanagement, but it also must look into work-life balance of employees. How much of this is can a small business owner, a small company uh, be involved in or get make it for the employee?
It can do a lot. See, work life is a very fancy term. Where what I believe in work life is your work becomes a pressure when you don't enjoy it. And all as a business owner I can do is very rightly reflected. The company should promote the environment, should have the right culture, should have the right engagement there. As a business owner, I must focus on one thing, that work should not be work. It should become the love or the passion for an employee.
Hmm.
And this is where I remember in early days of my career, we used to work for 18 hours, 20 hours. We used to stay in office till late without the owner. And it was a small business, and owner just kept on calling in between. Are you guys all right? Do you need anything? We'll make sure that dinner reaches in office in time. He makes sure that night the girl should not go alone. Someone should go, and this is, I'm talking of late 90s. So that's the only support, and we were so enthusiastic case we are doing it for our own company. And believe me, there was no work life pressure. We used to leave by 2 in the night, and morning 8 o'clock we were again in office with the same energy, and we were like enjoying life. And this is because we valued the work, and this was the value created by the owner. Boss, you are doing this for yourself. This is your own company. This is not my company. This as much as yours company work for it. So we were working for the growth of my own company. Yes, at some point in time, we realized now my growth needs some outer
Yeah,
horizon, and
it
but
is
it's still
probably,
friends,
yeah, it has given you the seeds for what you're doing right
right?
now. Yeah,
So yes, as a business owner, I have to do all these things, whatever was mentioned. The environment, the culture, micromanagement is yes one bad thing.
yeah,
So that's a very different topic, and I'm sure
super.
Captain would emphasize,
Yeah, I
can
mean, I'd
emphasize
like to
more
add
on
it.
it.
It stirred me a couple of things that I wanted to share. Your replying that the work-life balance, of course, it has been pushed today in some ways, but I have observed that we work in bursts, right? There would be an intense burst of work activity, maybe for a few days, weeks, depends on your company and your nature of work, and there could be few lull periods, right? So it may not be perfect every day going like a clockwork, but it could be like intense bursts, like how Vivekananda, 2 o'clock you're working, few days, and then again a lull where you make up. That's the nature
Correct.
of good companies and good business. It happens there naturally itself. And if you have, especially a business owner, especially if you're a business owner, you have a business owner who gives you a lot of autonomy to take some decision. That's when the joy of working for that comes. If for everything is like, what, other than those big ones, you take the decision what is best. Small decision, go ahead, take it. Don't need to ask. You suddenly feel empowered and you want to work there in those companies. The autonomy is a game changer for a small business owner to retain people.
Correct.
So I hope it helps. One of the LinkedIn users had posted this question. Thank you so much. And continuing ahead on what for employee engagement, this is something that big companies have the luxury of uh, having employee engagement, maybe having those budgets to spend there. But in a small way, what can a small company do for employee engagement and their well-being?
See, I'll quote some of the instances, some of the examples that I see with my client. One is, let's understand what is employee engagement. An employee engagement is not a fun activity that you take them out for a dinner, or take them to some out location, do some fun nasty music, dance. That is not engagement. That is a fun event that hardly lasts for one night or for a couple of days, and things are back to normal. What I work with my businesses in creating an opportunity of more frequent one-on-one with the employees. The leaders should have a more frequent one-on-one, which is not just about numbers. It's a very casual conversation. How are things? What are the challenges that you're facing? What help do you need? And that is small, session, maybe once in a month or once in a fortnight, do immense magic.
Hmm.
That brings in the engagement, as captain also added the autonomy. You are giving them a space and horizon to fly, and supporting them and guiding them, and that's a real engagement. So it's like, talking to them, giving them feedbacks. Yes,
Yeah.
every individual expects appreciation, and when the appreciation is in public, it's even more, you know good, better. And that's where we are doing the, routine. There should be an appreciation, there should be a review, analysis, appreciation and feedback.
Hmm.
And that is good enough an activity to engage, as a employee. Though I'm working hard in the organization, but how do I know how is the owner feeling? Because for me, ultimately what matters is the owner should be good,
Hmm.
owner should be happy. And if I hear this from the donkey's mouth all the time, when the owner comes and discusses me and shares the plan, and even discusses, what is the growth strategy for the organization,
Yeah.
I as an employee feel part of the organization,
Hmm.
and I feel involved.
Hmm.
And that's a true engagement which need no investment.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe that discussion is one tea you need,
Yeah.
and maybe some little snacks, and that is good enough. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
investment free engagement activities that,
Yeah.
and that's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I think it reminded me of a saying we used to have, in the Navy, and appreciate in public, reprimand in private.
Exactly.
I mean, so that itself can be a game changer. Not that people will not do those things where you have to pull them up a little bit. Then go ahead, do it in private, and tell them what they need to change and things like that, and appreciate in public. That goes a big way.
The feedback should be in one on one.
Yeah.
Appreciation should be among everyone,
Yeah.
and that works.
Yes, it encourages others to also improve or do those kind of things. You're in a way nudging them the way you want the culture or your values and interests that you have in mind.
Correct.
And yeah, so thank you, listeners. Wherever you're listening, please post your questions. And I hope you're having an amazing time getting all this wealth of insights about HR strategies, and especially for SMEs, it can be a game changer. And adding, there is another comment or a post, let me read that. Adding few things to this, company can give the freedom of work to employees to work as per their willingness and space, which will automatically make them take ahead. Also, their work should be awarded as an appreciation or recognition. Yeah, I think it's a comment, but yeah, I think anything you want to share, Vivekananda?
And that's what we just discussed.
Yeah. So I think from an employer side, if I have to comment, from the employee side, obviously this is the ask, but from the employer side, sometimes they are unsure if they are extracting the value. Okay, very to put it like the employer is always looking that, hey, am I getting the value for what I'm paying? Is the employer doing the work that he's supposed to? I'm not saying the employer is right. Many times this happens because the employer is not clear what are the tasks the employee must be doing, what is my, in a way, KRA and the KPIs that I expect. And because of that, the anxiety sets in when they allow that freedom to the employee. My God, is he doing the work? Because rather than holding him there and scanning and hovering around there, hold them accountable on weekly, daily, or whatever is your measuring yardstick, and then give them the freedom how they complete it and how they reach that. Your
Correct.
thoughts, Vivekananda?
See, clarity is absolute necessity. When it comes to performance management, and your first question was about performance management in small and medium businesses, and I said they're unorganized. Yes, they're unorganized because they themselves don't have a clarity. How it works, if you see, owner will set some target for each individual. Achieve this target, you are a good performer. You are not able to achieve the target, you are not a good performer. You may be a poor performer. But the reality is, whatever target you have assigned, is it taking you towards your goal?
Mm,
And I struggled with my businesses when I asked them, you stop complaining about your employees. Tell me, where do you see your business 3 years from now? You keep asking these questions in the interviews.
mm,
And let me ask you, where do you see? And believe me, most of them struggled to give me a roadmap.
mm,
Their horizon was so. Sir, last year we did X crores. This year we are targeting of X point 5 crores or some crores. Some difference in it also. Why?
mm,
Why not 2x? Why not 3x? What is your goal? What is your vision? And that's where they struggle. And
mm,
this clarity, this lack of clarity impacts the performance system as well, because when you yourself are not clear on what you want to achieve, how can you assign targets to them?
mm,
So then that becomes a benchmark. Last year we did this year 20% hike, 30% hike, and these are all very vague things,
mm.
and this is what creates a
Yeah.
problem.
Mm,
So we first begin with the clarity of goal setting in the organization. Okay, before we come down to employees and give them a clarity on their goals, they should understand the organization,
mm.
and that alignment has to come.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's an unorganized system. No
Mm,
one benefits out of it.
yeah.
See all the appraisals.
Yeah.
The person who is appraised is not happy. Most of them are crying. Most of them are, complaining.
Mm,
An organization is proud, they have given, they spend so much of money on them, but it eventually helps no one.
mm.
and that's where the problem is.
Okay. And what about, you can say, how do the small businesses, especially, how do they give fair and competitive benefits and packages, okay, to their employees and keep them there? What would your comments be on that?
See, yes, it has to be competitive in the market. They can always, do some research on what this segment is giving.
Hmm.
One mistake that we make is we start comparing with a large organization, and the same way an employee expects that a small business to pay them what a large organization is paying. Those
Hmm.
are not the right benchmarks.
Hmm.
But having said that, there are a lot of, money is not the only factor.
Hmm.
There are lot many things, if I know as an employee I'm growing, I'm learning something, I'm developing, I can do that transaction. I can compromise on the salary aspect and focus on the other things, and that's what
Hmm.
I initially said. We have to see the right mindset.
Hmm.
Money is a benchmark. Money, if that money is used as a parameter, small businesses are going to struggle.
Hmm.
So
Is
they
there
have to.
any rule of thumb that you would advise that, okay, if this package is X, then maybe in this range would be a fair compensation for a small company?
See that varies from and that varies from an or industry to industry and location to location. And this parameter which most of the organization follow, 20% on your current salary
Hmm.
is not a good parameter. You know, you should create a value for the work that they are giving, and the right benchmark or the parameter to identify what kind of compensation you are going to pay must be in relation to the kind of value that this candidate is going to bring. And you have to be smart enough to evaluate what value this candidate can bring.
Hmm.
What his previous employer was paying could be less, could be more.
Hmm.
So that comparison make no sense. But yes, that value-based culture is now coming, and in fact, even the large organizations are moving ahead and getting out of this, percentage wala thing. It's more about come sit across the table, let's discuss, let me understand what value you bring to the table, and your compensation would be relevant to it.
Hmm.
You like it, good. You don't like it, then you are not the right person for now.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. It does not matter what XYZ company is paying.
Hmm.
You showcased some potential,
Yeah.
and when I value that potential, I feel you bring X value. And for X value, there is the compensation that I'm going to give.
Yeah.
If you agree to it, is good. Or else you prove me that you don't bring a value of X, you bring a value of Y.
Yeah.
So let there be a very concrete discussion on it.
Yeah. What about these? There are no lot of apps and tools that are coming up for employee engagement, capturing feedback, and it could be about your goal setting. You know, the things that we were talking about, messaging, where maybe for a big organization it is good because you have such a large volume, you have so many branches and outlets, you can't monitor sitting in one place. But for a company which is in one place, right, maybe a one location, one unit, even if it's 30, 40, 50 people, how much of these apps would be good, or how much of it is direct, let's sit across and talk and get it done with it types?
See, technology certainly has its own benefits. The first benefit, they are very efficient. But you cannot rely 100% on that technology. You have to Marry with the technology, let technology do a part, let the decision making be done by you.
Mm.
So it's like you cannot leave everything on the technology because that would not be the right parameter. Use the technology to get you the analysis faster.
Mm.
Use technology to capture all the details, but ultimately the decision should be yours. So in fact, with my even the smallest of my client is using an HR technology, and we are doing all the performance management using technology. But the usage of technology is limited to capturing the data,
Mm.
collating it, presenting it, and leaving the analysis to us.
Mm.
We don't even allow the technology to decide what are the KRAs and KPIs.
Mm.
That we analyze,
Mm.
identify as per my business needs,
Mm.
and I ask the technology now to capture data
Mm.
for these parameters.
Okay.
Capture it, give it to me because manually it becomes a cumbersome job.
Yeah.
So I save time,
Mm.
I, I save a lot of man hours in that, but then the analysis we do.
Mm. Super.
So that's how technology certainly helps, but let be a helper only. Let
Super.
it not drive you.
I have a question. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. It's been amazing to read this and get to help you and to share our insights. It energizes us. So there's a question from one of the LinkedIn users: how to improve the managerial skills? If you could share some insights.
I'll keep it very generic and
Yeah,
short.
yes.
There are no standard managerial skills. So don't go by with a book. कि As a manager, I should have these five skills. Study what your organization needs, and study what your workplace needs. And there's a continuous evaluation. When you are not able to achieve your numbers or when you are not able to achieve your targets or when I'm evaluating your work, I'm identifying your behavioral characteristics. And I identify certain weaknesses, and when the individual identifies, oh, if in order to perform good at this job, I need to be good in these things. So believe me, it is an automatic. It's more of a self development. Half the time we learn certain skills, and Captain would agree with me because he has written his book on it, and I was reading it. You know, what do you need for learning? You need to have the right realization and you need to have the right decision to learn, and you learn on your own. So if you are able to identify what development you need, you'll be able to build up skills on it. Don't
Yeah.
run after those generic skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to add a little to Vivekananda's thoughts, was some things are go to, especially from a managerial, I would say, like those classics like communication, right? How clearly can you communicate? Most of the time, the frustration between the executive and the manager is expectation mismatch. You are expecting something, but you haven't clarified. They are hardworking people, genuinely want to do good, but they are not delivering what you want. It is not clear what the expectation. So expectation mismatch
Sorry.
can be overcome by this communication, having clear. I always say, make it so easy that somebody even in middle school can understand. Don't make it so complicated that, half the thing is in our head, but we are assuming that the person has understood. Make it so clear and have them, we used to have in the Navy, we used to have something called closed loop communication, which is now done in every other industry sometimes, where we would ask them to just repeat what they have understood, what they have what orders they have received or what is the thing, and they would repeat it. And sometimes we would catch them, hey, not that, that's not what I meant. Then again, they would repeat till the time that I would say, okay. So that was our system. It was an established process of communication because the errors were very severe. The consequences of making an error was very, very severe. So we had to improve our managerial skills there to get it efficient.
See,
You can use
let,
this technique there.
let me add a little more to it.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, communication. Now, communication is a skill. Communication is also a behavior.
Hmm.
Now, where is the problem? Is skill the problem or behavior the problem? At times, you may see individual with superb communication are still not able to communicate,
Hmm.
and that's where I said, you need to identify and analyze the right reasons before jumping onto, I need to learn this skill. When you know the real reason why is it lack of skill, or is it lack of will, or is it lack of the intent to put in.
Yeah.
I don't know if the answer has confused you, but yes, if it has,
I mean, just to
please
add,
add.
Vivekananda, this is going on in the thing in the sense that sometimes people think that somebody who's talking a lot is a better communicator. It's a misnomer, right? You can talk a lot
Correct,
and still be a poor communicator
correct,
because you haven't conveyed what you wanted to convey, and the person hasn't understood that, right? Too many words need not be, though it usually helps, but it's not necessary. It is a hit, right? It is like in the whole thing, did you really communicate what you wanted to? And has that person understood that message? It could be sometimes as simple as 5 words, 3 words that you got it and that person has understood, right? And so that is why I say, like, make it so simple that in our head it feels all good, like we know that we are communicating well, but the other person hasn't understood it. So when it comes out, and they repeat it, and then suddenly we feel, hey, I actually didn't add that I wanted. Maybe example I'm giving, get me a bucket from there, just get me some things there, some tool. And the person thinks, okay, you want me to get the blue? No, 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 not the blue one, get me the red color bucket, right? Because then I thought I was telling him red, but I just told bucket, and he thought, okay, he had blue in his mind and blue, no, red. So that repetition sometimes clarifies, okay? And because we think in our head and we don't sometimes express it. So this itself can be a game changer. Again, there are a ton of managerial skills like beyond the scope of
correct.
this. That itself probably we'll have to have a talk on. But just to give you one such arena is the communication. So, Vivekananda, we got another 5 minutes before we wrap up.
Sure.
And what about hiring? I've also shared sorry, before breaking this,
Mhm.
a link to my book, Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt. Vivekananda also raised this point. Thank you. And it's available on Amazon. Do grab it. It's a book that will help you break your patterns in laziness, fear, and doubt. There are a lot of strategies that I've shared, a lot of tools and techniques that I've been practicing for myself, my officers, and later now my clients who I work with, and it's been a game changer. And I hope you do that. And one of the users has said, "Thank you so much, Preetham and Vivek. This session was very helpful. Looking forward for more likewise to know about your experience and insights on different topics. Please do follow the channel. I will share it again, and it will help me bring more such contents, amazing speakers, and help you also in your journey. And Vivekananda posts some amazing posts nearly every day. I think, is it true? Nearly every day,
Every day,
and
it
it's
goes without saying.
really you get massive insights into your company. And
Please follow us on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yes, Vivekananda is on LinkedIn. Let me share his link. Um, And for any queries, any one on ones that you would like to reach out, And if you like to connect with us, then fill out this form. Fill out this form, and we will connect with you. And just we are at the close. We have another one or two questions before we wrap up.
Sure.
And thank you again for all the listeners who are listening in, or those who may be listening to the recorded version. Do try to attend the live ones, especially if you have questions to ask, and we will be really happy to take that up. And what about the hiring? What advice would you give, HR managers, especially working for small companies, business owners of small companies, for hiring good talent? What strategies can they use?
See, I mentioned this a little earlier also. There's a very, very important point for us, especially for a small business owner. They're short of resources, they cannot afford a goof up or a mistake made during recruiting. A wrong hire can be a costly mistake.
Mm,
But as I said earlier also, before everyone wants a right candidate. So first and foremost thing is get your definition of right. And your definition of right will not be the same as my definition of right or as someone else's definition, because your business is unique. Your
yeah.
business is unique in terms of its resources, in terms of its market, in terms of so many things. You need a person who fits into your organization. So there is no standard definition for it. Get your definition of right correct, and once you have the right definition, half your problems are solved. Many a times we kind of you know reject a candidate for not matching so many things, but in reality that candidate could have been the best candidate for me. So once I'm not clear on my rights, I'm going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Half the problems are sorted out. Once you have the right, you attract the right candidates, and then you evaluate. Your criteria for evaluation changes.
Mm,
Gone are the days, you know, it feels sad that we all run after the qualification and experience.
yeah.
And when most of those champion business owners themselves do not have qualification, themselves do not have the right qualification, but they could build an empire. So it's a game changer is, getting the right personality and getting the right behavior for your job.
Mm,
Look for character, don't look too much for qualification and experience. Knowledge can be gained.
yeah.
So as you would have read a lot, hire for attitude. Knowledge and skills can be developed, can
Yeah.
be built.
I
So
mean,
that's the only thing.
super.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been amazing, Vivekananda. I'll just share a story before we wrap up. But firstly, thank you for
sure.
taking so much of time. This is many years back before I ventured into my own business like today. And I found this boy, he was probably in his 20s something. And I wanted a book wrapped up or a gift wrapped up. I can't remember now. And in a shop, and he was wrapping it up, and it was quite good, but he was not happy. He removed all this, and I said, "What happened?" He said, "No, it's not come properly." He wrapped it again. It made it really like perfect. And I was like, if I was running a business and he was there, I would not hesitate to hire him. you know his quality of work, his behavior was so I was so impressed by it. But that time I was not running my own business, but it was a thought that still resides with me, that people with such quality comes, then they are so much more trainable, especially if they come with an open mind, and you can do amazing things. Like
Right.
Vivekananda said, go for character, everything else can be. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vivekananda.
My pleasure. It was lovely talking to you.
And thank
Seeing
you.
so many good questions. I mean that
Yeah,
the enthusiasm and excitement in people. I mean,
yeah, yeah. So it's great when people ask questions, it energizes us. It
Correct.
inspires us. And thank you so much for tuning in, listening in today. And we hope to see you again in another session. Do watch the recorded. It will be available on our LinkedIn platforms. Do share your comments, and we'll be happy to take it there too. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.
Thank you, Captain. Pleasure being here.